Francis Ford Coppola is back with a new movie, Megalopolis. Is it really as divisive as everyone is saying? Let's talk about it.
But is there time? Wait. Go.
What even was that? Like, I was trying to think of something funny to say at the start of this review, but I ultimately have nothing after seeing that movie, and I still don't even know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just confused overall. So we know Francis Ford Coppola is a mastermind and is responsible for movies like The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, The Outsider, and more, but now he has a self-funded Fable that's been under fire for, onset issues that we still don't know if they're true or not, but there's some video evidence, and it just being a really bad movie overall. I've seen some people say. And if you didn't know, this cost around $120 million to make, not even marketing. And as I said, I'm still very confused on my own thoughts on this movie, and I will warn you, my number rating at the end of this video might be a little bit wrong because I still need to see this one more time to fully understand what my eyes were even looking at half the time. Like, I actually want to label this one as like a must-see in theaters or at home, because I think everyone will have a different reaction to this movie. Some will call it like the next coming of Christ, the best movie ever. Some will label it as the worst movie ever, and I will say, both answers are correct in some ways. What's funny is that I even went into this movie with like low expectations after this premiered at Cannes Film Festival. I think Cannes was in June or May, and I think it opens with a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes, like a 20% on something. I'm not sure what it's at right now, but I'm pretty sure it's still rotten. So let's just say I entered with a brain and left with somewhat of a brain full of Megalon. And if you haven't seen the movie, you won't know what that means, but Megalon is kind of like the metal that Adam Driver uses to create this new utopia called Megalopolis. That's like a simple plot description because it is really hard to explain because there's so many other things going on. And like this Megalopolis utopia and this Megalon that he uses is kind of like a magical thing. And they don't even explain where it even came from. That's the funniest thing about it. Francis Ford Coppola must have been on some different types of drugs making this movie, because you have like a big Coliseum scene where Grace Vanderwaal is in it singing some songs. Adam Driver's overdosing on some drug. You have Shia LaBeouf in a quad relationship with his sisters, and you have John Voight kind of playing a Joe Biden-esque character. And somehow it all makes sense by the end. As I said earlier, it's made for about $120 million of Francis Ford Coppola's own money, and for the most part, it does look pretty cool. But some of that CGI is pretty embarrassing for that amount of money. Like, there's one scene where Adam Driver's character is like going up in the elevator, and the background just looks so ridiculous when they're going up. I thought it looked pretty bad, but at least the whole movie looked pretty interesting. Like, it's like something I've never seen before, and the costumes and set design were actually pretty sharp for the most part. I did like those a lot. The only visual style that I really ended up hating by the end of this movie was like the three-way split screen. A split screen when you're playing a video game, there's one screen on the left, one screen on the right. This one, it's split up into threes. And if you don't like that, like I didn't like that, then you're probably not going to like the movie a lot because it's used a lot in this. Like, holy cow, Francis must love some split screen. Like, my God, he just wouldn't stop using it, and it just distracted me. There's some scenes in here where everything was going on and nothing was going on. It's like a full-on just drug overdose, and that's coming from someone who's never taken a drug in his life. I do want to touch on the pacing, because surprisingly the pacing wasn't bad. Like, I was worried because it comes in at almost 2 hours and 20 minutes, and maybe the movie put me in like some sort of deep trance that I didn't feel the pace or anything, but I also didn't know what the heck was going on at half the time the movie was going, and I was just entertained by Aubrey Plaza and whatever the hell she was doing for the whole movie. So I guess the pacing worked for me, but I will see how it works on a rewatch. Let's talk about this crazy cast, and I really just want to talk to each cast member to be like, ask them like, why did you agree to do this movie? Like, did you read the script before doing it? Because I swear all of them just saw Francis Ford Coppola's name at the top of the script and were like, oh, yep, sign me up, I want to do this, I want to do it. And I'm like, nah, man, you did not read the script before signing up for this. But Adam Driver is the main character. Caesar, Catalina, like, they all have some weird ass names here. Like, they're present day, like, Roman Greek names for some reason. And Adam Driver, he's been doing some weird things ever since Star Wars has ended, like some odd things. His last movie, I think, was 65, or is the one before that? I don't know. I can't keep up with this man. He's pretty great in this movie, though. I will say he always turns in a great performance, even if the movie is on some weird stuff. And I did like his performance here. There's one scene in here where he just took me out, and it's a scene involving like his eye and all that. I was like, what are you doing here, bro? But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Young Carlo Esposito, that was pretty cool. He's not really in it that much. Natalie Emanuel plays Julia in here. I thought that she was also a pretty strong spot here. But Aubrey Plaza as a Wow Platinum. Yep, you heard that right. Her name is Wow Platinum. Crazy name, but honestly, I'd name my kid that any day of the week. I thought that she was kind of like the best performance of this movie, best part. She just gives a lot of weird things and a lot of weird things to do. And it felt really much like Aubrey Plaza and what she would do. Shia LaBeouf also has a small role. I think he was just playing Shia LaBeouf at this point. Jon Voight, as I said, he was kind of playing Joe Biden. I swear to God. Lawrence Fishburne's in this. He's like kind of like the narrator, which I didn't think we needed. I didn't think we needed a narrator. Felt kind of weird. Chloe Fineman from SNL's in this. I kind of liked her though. I thought that she was pretty good. Like to see her in more roles. And Jason Schwartzman just shows up out of nowhere sometimes in the background. So yeah, that's a pretty stacked cast, and I actually liked most of their performances. I thought it was pretty nifty. Overall, Megalopolis is probably going to be Megaflopolis after this weekend because it won't make a lot, but it is worth seeing because I think everyone will react to it differently. I still want to see it again, but on a first viewing, I kind of liked it, and that's maybe because I had no expectations, but I just think that it was a, truly different experience that I've never had before in a movie theater. Some of the CGI was a bit wacky and the story was all over the place, but the costumes and performances were actually pretty cool. So I'm going to go for a 6.5 out of 10 on first viewing. If you ended up seeing Megalopolis, make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed my review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. That's it for the review, everyone. Hope you have a great day. See you in the next one.